for the series of R. We are very thankful that Dr. Tan from ALSET Institute for Applied Learning Sciences and Educational Technology has actually kindly accepted our invitation to deliver this series of talk on R. So here we are at the elegant data visualization using R ggplot2 part 1. So in this ggplot, I think we have actually 3 parts to it. So Dr. Tan has actually tried to put it into bite size so that we can actually learn a little more in depth with using a very useful package ggplot2. Okay. So here are the slides, links, as well as instructions to install R. So some of us are new to R, maybe have not even installed. So this is the links that you can actually access to, as well as some additional files as containing the packages that we'll be using later on. And we have a special cheat sheet for us today to refer to for data visualization using ggplot. So these are the links, and we will also put it into the chat for those who are new with us. So give us a few moments before I actually toggle to chat and give you the links again. Okay, so some of the housekeeping rules. Basically, it would be nice to have your name, your personal name. You could rename yourself so that in case you put any questions up to us, we can actually address you. I think that's more polite for us to address your name. And by default, all of us are muted. So if you have any questions, burning questions, you can actually, if you want, you can unmute yourself, or you can actually put it into the chat. So from the previous sessions, I think a lot of us like to use the chat function a lot. So I'll try to look out as I facilitate this session for Dr. Tan. And then if you have any question and answer other than the chat, you can actually drop us an email, or actually at the end of the session, if we have time, we'll try to go through them as well. So at an appropriate time during the session, if I see any question, I could also bring it forth to Dr. Tan to address and discuss further. So common question, whether this session is recorded. Yes, it will be recorded and uploaded, accessible to our NUS staff and students. So not to worry, we will actually record this session. And Suyen here, is really our back end, helping us with all those researcher Unbound series. So she's the go-to woman. Okay. So at the end of the session, we will similarly have a survey conducted. So do give us your feedback, and that's something we appreciate a lot. So yeah, so say cheese, while we are recording this, and we probably do some snapshot as well. So getting to know you better. We want to know where you're from, which department. So you can actually use your mobile phone, okay, or your laptop. You go to the link here, polllive.com/mag. That should bring you to this poll. And I hope it's being activated. I'm seeing that it's activated already. Okay, I'm seeing responses coming in. Great. From ODPRT, okay, keep it coming. We can actually go to the link here for those who have just joined us. You can actually key in which department you're from. Okay, CHBE, okay. Duke, okay, welcome here. Nice. We're biological, from medicine. All right, from sciences as well. FASS, yes. So similarly, I think this is a good information for us so that we know that, we actually have a very diverse group as well today. Like similarly in the previous groups. Yeah, thank you. Keep your responses coming. Thank you. Okay. We have also from USP, okay. Environmental sciences, engineering. Wow, okay. We have lots from psychology as well. Okay. Thank you so much for your responses. Okay, the next question. What is your role in the department? Are you a student, a researcher, faculty member, admin, executive, professionals? Okay, we are seeing actually quite evenly spread for now, our undergrad, graduate students, and researcher. Great. Okay, good to have you with us. And next, okay, we'd like to know whether you have actually attended, okay, any prior knowledge, none of the above, or you have actually attended both our sessions before. Okay, so majority have not. Wow, I'm surprised actually. Okay, about 60% have not. Okay, so but I really hope that you have actually downloaded R already so that, we could actually download the package. So I think, Dr. Tan, this is something that we can actually keep in view, like, half of them actually, or more than half, okay, have not attended. yeah, the previous sessions. Okay. Okay, this is something very important because we sent out an email to remind everyone to download the R. So we hope everyone would have done that. So if you don't have the R installed, you might also want to download it, but it might take a while. Okay, so nevertheless, you can actually follow the slides that's coming up as well. Okay, and take notes. All right, so here we come to part one of the ggplot2. And before that, probably I would like to pass on the time to Dr. Tan. And Dr. Tan, I will stop sharing then.
Yeah, thanks, Madeline,
Thank you.
giving us such wonderful details before we start. Madeline is very good in organizing all this.
No.
Yeah, ouch.
Okay, we give you, yeah, we are starting to see your screen sharing. Yes, great.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you see the screen? Okay. Yeah. So basically, the slides will be on the first web page. The installation, because I can see most of you have installed, so just in case you did not, you can go to the website and see how's the installation process like. And additional files is 3 of them. The first one, data visualization with ggplot cheat sheet, is a reference file. The second file, is the R code file, R program files. We consist of all the program codes for this workshop. And the third one consists of of the R programs to download the four packages, add-on packages in R for this session. Yeah, we will go to shortly for the third one, because not all of you have downloaded all the relevant added files. Yeah, so if you have already downloaded the files, click on the R icons. Just go to the procedures, then we'll go to actually how it's like. The procedure is click on the R, you'll get the screen here. Then you go to open script by pointing your mouse to file, then there's an open script. Then you should have downloaded this file, which is the installation files. Then open this file from the directory you downloaded or the directory you stored to, and highlighted the whole file by using Ctrl A or Ctrl R to execute this. Or equivalently, you can put on, you can point to edit, and then there's a run or to run this file. Okay, we shall go through these procedures. When you log into R, you go into File, Open Script, then look for the installation files. This is the installation file and click Open. So you'll get this file. Today we're going to ggplot2, and we also use these 3 files as well. Yeah, I'll explain a bit about these 3 files, but first thing, if highlight it, press Ctrl R to run these files, right? Or alternatively, you just put edit and you go into run all. Then you also run these 4 statements. Huh? Yeah, while you're running this file, the installation package is to add in the add-on packages into your system. Huh? Yeah. So there are 4 files here. One is the ggplot2, is the basic add-on package for running ggplot2. And dplyr is a data management package written by the same author of ggplot2. Whitman. Then get minor is a data file that is for illustration for today. So there are files that is like these two files is one is data management, the other one is for general graphics. This file is storing data files. So we are using one of the files inside this data, package. So we have to download this in order to run the graphics that we intend to draw. And grids extra is the one that to arrange the graphical output if we generate more than one graphical output from ggplot2. Right?
Sorry, Dr. Tan. Can I have a interject question here? For those who are using Mac, I think they have a problem with the Control R command. Is there a way to get around the MacBook?
I'm not familiar with Mac though. I never used Mac before, so I apologize for that. So does the Mac have edit run all? If there is, you just highlight and run all. That'd be fine. If Mac have that, because sometimes the Mac might have a different GUI. But
okay, we have like a helpline from one of our participants for Mac. You can actually copy each command into the console, and then you just enter, command enter.
Yeah. That's another
individual way. Command. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. That's to say that you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. You just copy this, Control C, and then paste here, and then you just press enter. You run it. Right. Yeah. Because I already installed, so I'm not going to run that. Right. So the screen that appear is tell you to select where you want to download from. Just enter and go on. The first option is cloud. So you just enter, or you can choose any country from there. Then the installation process will appear on the console here. So you just let it run, right? So while you're running all the installation, we shall go back to the slide. After the running of the installation should the console here should show some messages that your installation is all right, is properly installed. So we have gone through the installation. So today I would like to share with you part one of the ggplot package. This introductory part one is more is to share with you more an overview of ggplot2, how the ggplot2 use of the grammar of graphics, why you want to use it, what's the purpose of using it, and also to introduce the three basic components of ggplot2 to produce a graph. Yeah, and also introduce what is a 37 ggplot2, just to give you a feel that what are the things that can be done using ggplot2. Then also pointing out that there might be some difficulties or disadvantage of ggplot2 when you use this particular ggplot, because it is a freeware. Yeah. Then using the data getMinder, which is come from the library getMinder with downloading now, to illustrate how ggplot2 approach of generating a graph, which is a layer by layer type approach. Then we'll go on to touch on how to generate the headings for the graph, X and Y axis for the graph, how to use theme in ggplot2 to change the color, the font size, and the position of certain parameter that is in the ggplot2. So that is basically about what we're going through today. Then at the end of it, we'll have some references for you. So ggplot2 is based on, is written by Andy Whitman, who is this gentleman here, which is based on this gentleman here, which is based on the grammar of graphic written by Wilkinson. Yeah? It is named as ggplot2 is because GG stands for grammar of graphics. That is a plot for grammar of graphics. So it's called ggplot2. But I'm not sure why the 2 is there. Probably there's a 1. Yeah, so it's based on the grid systems. And ggplot2, there's a lot of, there are increasing people using ggplot2. Partly probably is because of the add-on facilities there. And there's a specific grammar that you have to observe. So it's quite easy to build on certain packages, new packages that use ggplot2 as a base. So refer that as extension add-on packages to ggplot2. And you can see that there's a growing of the extension of ggplot2 over time as well. Right? Why would you use this? Because it's using a specific grammar to generate graphics, which is quite useful because it's an add-on type concept. You have generate a graph, then you add on certain features, and then you add on into the plots. So you can make a simple syntax. You get a graph, then you want to decide to change certain things, then you add on another commands to change it. So there's a layered label approach. We'll go through examples of that. To start with a plot, it can be quite a simple and easy command syntax to specify. And normally the default, it depends on person-to-person preference. I mean, if it is just exploratory, then it can produce quite good graphical outputs. Even we've added another few syntax, a representative style graphical output will be can be generated. And you have well documents in the tutorial, which we will point this reference to you. And it's also flexible and produce quite complex plot, but the more complex or the more specific you want the plots to be, the longer will be the syntax. Yeah, it's very easy in faceting. Faceting means you can produce a plot by putting subplot from a plot. If there's a group variable that you want to specify, like plotting population distribution by race, 4 groups, then you produce not only the one group's whole population, but is, let's say there are 4 groups in Singapore, Chinese, Malay, Indian, others, then you produce 4 plots. So there's a large number of add-ons to supplement the ggplot2 that make it very handy. Yeah, so basically just to come up with some taxonomy to say that how ggplot2 relationship with other plots and what is the plots available in ggplot. So if you attended the previous one is we can there's a base plot. When you first log into R, there will be some syntax that can be used to generate plots, and lattice is another one that produces general graphics, and ggplot is the third one. And there are specific plots to produce certain graphical output, like plot 3D is dealing with 3-dimensional plots. And this package, add-on package, is deal with time series. And shape plots is produce a shape of certain shapes that you intend to, like ellipses and all that, to produce graphical plots. So ggplot is a more general type of graphical package. And in ggplot2, like category variable, you can produce bar chart, pie chart, donut chart. Continuous variable like histogram, violin plots, density plot, and so on and so forth, right? And extension is can be built by a different user from a different a different user that is add on to ggplot2. Let's say Mozart plot is available in ggplot2, but there's a specific add-on package that produces simple syntax and more variety of Mozart plot without having to deal with more complex syntax if you use a ggplot2. The same thing, a wafer plot, a ridge line plot is actually a density plot, which is a more appearing type of graphical output that is in the extension. And also calendar heat maps is essentially a time series plot. Of course, you can also use models that is produced because there are lots of models available in R. After you produce the output, then you can transform the output data into a data frame so that you can feed to ggplot and produce the output. And of course, you can write your own function as well to produce the plots. also develop your own add-on package as what people have developed the extension. If you have a very great interest in art. So basically, this is the whole how the relation of ggplot to others are packages. Yeah, so basically there are three basic components for ggplot in order to produce a graph. A graph with some graphical features, to be more specific. First is we have to specify where we get the data. So to start with a plot, we have to issue the function called ggplot, which is a function from ggplot. We said data is equal to the name of the data, and this data must be a data frame. A data frame means there's a row and there's a column, and it is an R object called a data frame. It is something similar, let's say, in Excel sheet or SPSS format type, or Stata, you have row and columns. And we have the specified, we call it aesthetic mapping, which is the aesthetic mapping in ggplot2 is called AES, stands for aesthetic. And let's say we want to do a scatter plot, we have to specify what is the variable in x-axis, what is the variable in y-axis. So that is specified where we get the variable from that data set. And we have to specify what type of plots we want to produce. So that is called geometry. That means the type of plots we want to produce. So let's say geo underscore box plot is we want to produce a box plot. Yeah. So we take a look at this data data set called data empty car. The empty cars is a data set. When you load the R, is already inside R in the base. Yeah. So this data set consists of 32 observations with 32 observations with 11 variables. We'll pick up the two variables to do to illustrate how to generate the ggplot. The variable MPG is mile per gallon, and another one is WT is the weight of the car. So if you want to generate what is inside there for only these two particular variables, we put empty cars, then say comma C, then MPG and WT. That's the syntax. We shall go through the R, how it generates, right? And then these are the three ports. We'll introduce the syntax here, then we'll go to the R program to see how it runs. All right. So we're saying that there are three basic components. So the data is empty car for the three examples here. The aesthetic is Y variable MPG. So for we want to do a box plot here. So is the geo is box plot, right? Yeah. So we want to plot one variable MPG. So it's a ggplot2, read in from empty car. We just want MPG, and then we do a box plot that will generate these box plots printed below. So this is a violin plot because it looked like a violin, and that's why it's called a violin plot. So we have to specify from empty car what is the y-axis, what is the x-axis, because we only select one, so we put x-axis as a blank one. Then we say Joe violin, then we provide a violin plot. In between, we must put a plus. If we flow it down, but even not down, then you also have to put a plus there. Yeah. So the same thing for this, because it's a scatter plot, but it's specified the y-axis. So the x is WP, the y is MPG, and then with the specified is geo point to generate a scatter plot. Okay, let's go to our programs. So now go to File, Open Script, open this file. Just now we opened the installation file. Is to install the packages, the 4 add-on packages. Now open this file. Just click open. You'll get this. You get this one. So these are programs for today's workshops. So let's say we generate this, we highlight this, we press Ctrl R. The console will appear here. STR stands for structured. So we get the empty cars and then want to show what is the structure of the empty cars. So there's a command to say that this is a data frame. A data frame is needed to read, to input into the ggplot, right? So there are 32 observations and 11 variables here. There are 11 variables here. And then you show the first few observations from this car. Then if we put in empty cars, then you display all the observations in this car, in this data set. So these are the 32 observations from the name of the car, MPG, cylinder, all the way to, let's say, the weight is here. So now we want to select MPG and weight. We issued the command to say that get from empty cars. Then we say C is concatenate. We say, well, do I have MPG and WT? Then only display MPG and WT, which is the same up here as this column and this column. So empty car is display all the observation. If you want to select the columns that we want to display, then we just specify and change it here, right? So we have to first generate this to read in the package from ggplot2. Then if you highlight this, then we generate that. Then we'll produce the box plot. So that is the 50th percentile, the 25th percentile, the 75th percentile, and all the way there. Then anything that is beyond the whisker is considered as outlier, like 1.5 SD away from this outlier. So that shows the distribution of the MPG, right? So for violin plot, so we highlight here, then we generate that, then we produce the violin plot. So because we have to change this to violin to produce another plot. That is to say we have to specify the geometry in order to produce a different type of plots that we want. After specifying where we get the data set and what are the variables that we choose from the data frame. So the scatter plot is this. We highlight this, Control C, we get a scatter plot. So you can see that the higher the weight, the less the miles per gallon here, right? Yeah, so maybe WT and MPG doesn't look quite what we are expected to do. We want to change this, all that, then that will cover later, right? See that how we're going to do that, right? So first, we want to show the concept of the layer by layer approach. So we have to read in the data from the add-on packages we just loaded. So this is to say load in this particular add-on. So once you execute this, the getMinder is loaded. So we want to take a look at getMinder. We execute this. Then you say, yeah, there are 1,704 observations. There are 6 variables here, which is a country, continent, year, life expectancy, the population, and the GDP per cap. So they only list the first 10. So, and they do not list them all. So you say, oh, there are another 1,694 more rows, but it's not displayed in the console. And now we go back to the okay. Just now I was saying that we have a box plot, we have a violin plot, we have a scatter plot, but there are a lot more geometry that's available. So these are the 36 that's available here in ggplot. Let's say if we want to have a polygon, then we have a polygon, then we have to go into 24 here, there's polygon. If we want to have a contour plot, then we have to specify control in item number 7, and so on and so forth. So this is the one on the left is you can find in the the cheat sheet, this is extracted from the cheat sheet, is the saying that if we want to do a box plot, that is the command. And if we want to do a volume plot, that is the command. And let's say if it is a density 2D plot, that is the geometry that we can refer to. Let's say we have to have a rect, a geometric rect is to print the density in bar over the x and the y axis. Yeah. So we go back to, but that is the three basic components that we need to produce a plot. But if there are other type of components in ggplot that that able to change the appearance of the output as well. So aesthetic must be there. The geometric object must be there. And we can also use a statistics component to change, to add in, let's say, linear and smooth regression like the one showed here. This is to add in a smooth line, break down by two groups here with the scatter plot and a smooth line over it. So that is another component. When we add in, then you'll produce that. So we can add in the title, we can add in the change X and Y labels. If that is belong to the scale component, the syntax is over here. Then first thing is what to produce subplot by a variable, let's say a variable race here. So we just issue the command facet grips by race, where race is let's say is stored in 1, 2, 3, and 4, stand for Chinese, Malay, Indian, and others. Then we produce 4 plots instead of 1 plots if we issue this command. And the coordinate system is the coordinate flip, is to flip the Cartesian coordinates. So let's say we produce a vertical bar chart. We use this command, then you become a horizontal bar chart. So that is another component called the coordinate teams. We'll have a lot of examples later on these components called team. We will change the appearance of the output of in colors, font, size, and so forth using this team. So like the team WSJ is a team based on the Wall Street journals. They produce a Wall Street journal type, a default graphical in output to replace the default one in the ggplot. Yeah. Having said that, it seems that ggplot has a lot of things that we can change a graph to produce quite good graph, but starter of a beginner in ggplot2, to me as well, when I start using ggplot2, I do face some challenging using this particular package. The main issue is there are a lot of functions, there are a lot of arguments there. You can see that just the geometrics, there are 37 here. So you have to really search through whether there's there. Let's say you're going to produce a QQ plot, or is there? Oh, okay, yes, QQ plot is there. So you confirm that QQ plot is there, then you select that geometry. Right? Yeah. So, and there are increasing number of ggplot extensions. So when you look at ggplot, it's this ggplot probably is not what I expected. Then you say, oh, whether the extension. So they need some time to search for it as well. And once you want to do a graphical, is up to your expectation, where it's very complicated one, then the syntax of the R will get longer. So that is something will be expected when you want to produce certain graph with your expectation. Right? So there's some of the things that you might face when using ggplot2. Yeah, let's go on to the concept of layers by layer approach. We'll go through this, and then before we go into the R program and see how it runs. If you're really familiar with R, with the R program that's just downloaded, in actual fact, you can just run it. You can see what's the output. We shall go through this one by one to illustrate what is a layer by layer approach. First, we can generate empty plots without anything. Then we no need to observe the basic tree components because we were not plotting any graph on it. Then after generating empty plots, we can put in the data frame. Then it's specified what are the X and Y variables. That is the second layers. Then the third layer we can put in is to generate a scatter plot. Then we issue the draw point to do that. Then we can say, change the color of the scatter plot by a group variable. So there'll be a change, differentiate the color of the plots by the group variables. Then we can add in a second group as well, not only one, and then that group will determine the size of the scatter plot. Normally we refer that as a bubble plot. And we can hide the size, because once you generate that, the legend automatically produced. So we want to hide the legend, then we issue another command to remove the legend. Then we can add in a title, add in a subtitle, change the X and Y labels, add in a text, change the legend title, and then add in a caption. We shall move. We shall see how this can be done in ggplot. So back to get minor, just how we have seen. This get minor is a data file that store the variable here, life expectancy, GDP, population, year, continent, and countries. From year 1952 to 2007. We shall abstract this from the whole data set, which consists of 1704 with these 6 variables, to reduce it to 142, because we want to restrict it into 1992 only. So just to makes the plot a bit more less data points so you can see clearly. So the way to do it is to load in another library called dplyr. Then we say get minor, and then by filtering the year to 1992, and then store it into a new data frame, which is called get 1992. So when we put it get 1992, they say, oh, the observation is reduced to 142, but it's still with these 6 variables there, right? Yeah. So to generate a plot, we just put ggplot bracket will generate a blank ggplot without anything, just a square box. Yeah. So ggplot, you can put in comments line with a start of using the hex size. So all these are comments. So even you highlight this and then you put Ctrl+R to run it, these 3 lines would not be executed, right? So to change it, we insert, say, want to read in from get 1992, that's a data frame, and the X asset is this, and the Y asset is that. Then we generate the X and the Y. Because we didn't say what are the things that we want to plot, so there's nothing there, right, in the plots. So to add in another layer, so say, oh, plus. The plus must not be in the next line, it must be in the same line, because when because R is reading line by line, so you read until here, and then, oh, there's a plus, so there's not the end of the syntax. Then you go on to look for the next line, right? Yeah, so now we specify the geoplot, then you produce the scatter plot. So you can see that the relationship between a GDP per capita and the life expectancy is a non-linear type of relationship, right? So you are asymptotic to upper life expectancy here, because probably we don't live beyond, I mean, the data here, we don't live beyond 80 years old. Yeah. So the alpha is to change the lightness of the printed dot here. So it is not as dark, it is just reduced by probably like around 80%. So the darkness is not so dark. And the shape 21 saying that we want to produce a dot, and then the filling in is white, so this is a hollow dot. Yeah. So after we produce this, oh yeah, we probably want to add in another variable to say that which continent they come from. So inside this file, there are 5 continents here, which is stored in the variable called continent. So we want to add in, we just put in another aesthetic to say that the color is according to this, the hue, this one. and then you will change the color. Let's say the Asia one is in light blue or what? So you can see that those that's printed in light blue is here, right? So you can see that the GDP, the expectancy of those printed here is actually come from Africa. Right? Africa is this color, so this mostly appear here as Africa. Right? So we add in another layers to say that the aesthetic size is equal to pop, and then another legend producer. So those that have a bigger population, like this, from continent, this is continent from where? From Asia or Europe? Huh? Yes. Then this will equivalent to, let's say, is about 8 digits, 80 million. Yeah. So is so once you add this statement, we'll change the scatter plot into a bubble plot, right? So
hi, Dr. Tan. Yes,
yes.
sorry, because I think that there's a few questions at this juncture. So maybe I thought I could actually bring it up since you're actually looking at how the plots can be generated. Okay, so basically there's a question: what's the difference between using the plus and the percentage greater than percentage?
Oh, the plus here is used in ggplot to say that this is not the end of the plots. So go on to the next one. You can see that after aesthetic is a plus, after a geo point is a plus, after another aesthetic is another plus. So it just go on and on until the last one with no plus. That means it's end of this particular plot. Yeah. But the percentage one is in DPLYR, which is the data management. Because it's built by the same author, is the percentage point, the percentage one is something similar to the plus here that is used in DPLYR, which is a data management package. Yeah, I think that answered the question.
Okay, and then also just to announce that, you know, when you download the library Gapminer package, after that you have do they have to download the library ggplot too?
Download of all the add-on packages, you need only download once. You don't need to do it twice. But when in the R, in the programs, when we want to use it, we have to put library ggplot to say that the add-on package install packages is only done it once, unless you want to download the latest version, and the latest version there's a change, then you install another time, or you can use the update install to update the package. While in the R programs, when we use a specific package that had already been downloaded in your computer, then we have the specified library ggplot2. So when the library ggplot2 is executed, then you do not execute the second time. Then during in the program, then you only that means execute once will do.
Right. Yeah, I think a lot of us are experiencing the difficulty in toggling between the instructor screen and the R console. Yeah, and it's very common to be learning over Zoom with this difficulty, and we understand that as well. Yeah, that's why, you know, when Teck and I, we were discussing whether should we do it over Zoom or not at all. Yeah, we were actually trying to deliver this over Zoom as much as possible, so that, you know, we have been receiving a lot of emails to ask when are we going to run this workshop. So yeah, we totally understand, you know, the difficulty, you know, even myself, you know, when I have to troubleshoot on the R console and then looking at the chat on Zoom, it's very, very difficult. Yeah, so and then there is also a common error. Sometimes, you know, when they type in, let's say ggplot gap 1992 and then so forth, and then they will have, let's say, for example, object gap 1992 not found. So is there an error that, yeah?
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's because this code is not executed.
Sorry, I think we are not seeing your mouse.
The mouse here, could I click on something? Can I see the mouse now?
Not really.
Not really. Oh.
Yeah, that's why.
Let me see. I do not know how to execute the mouse. Got it. Here, can you see?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Yes.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. When you say cannot find get 1992, is because this is not executed. When we say library get minor, when you load this, the data set this is an add-on package which consists the data set called get minor. The get minor, when we say library with this, then the get minor is already there. It's just not the empty cast. When you uploaded the when you execute the R, when you invoke into R, empty cast is already there because there's a data set when the R is loaded, it's already there. But this get minor is in this add-on package. Yeah, so we have to say library this get minor, and inside there's a get minor data set. Once we execute the library get minor, we'll get the get minor data set. Because the get minor data set is this data set that generate the get 1992. So this have to be executed to generate the get 1992 data frame.
So it's sequential lah. So it's
yes,
one
yes.
at a time. Yeah.
Yes, it's sequential. That's to say that we have to load the library called dplyr in order to execute this. And the syntax in dplyr is saying that we have to specify get minor, then flow to the next line to say filter year is equal to is equal to 992 is saying that get from get minor that where there is a year here, all those 1992 will be selected. And then you reduce from 17 to 142, right? Yeah, so after execute this, store into a new data frame called get 1992. So we execute 1992 and see that there's a reduction from the observation here to this. So that's why if that have to be generated in order to get the get 1992.
Right. And we also have a very common question, like I think throughout the few sessions that, you know, whether can we actually import our own data into R. I think we will not be covering in any of this series because that falls under the data management, right, Dr. Tan?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, we actually ran it the last few I think was it last 2 semesters ago? Yeah. So but this round. Yeah, so this time around we are not going to cover that data management part. So we'll try to see if we have the chance to, and depends on, you know, Teck Kiang's time. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, that is this something like data this is some data management. This is data management.
Yeah, and also there's another question from Fiona about whether can we compare different plots in R.
Compare.
Maybe loading different or different like graphs, different lines.
Compare. I mean, it's ggplot2 is produce a specific graph, then the subsequent syntax to change the default into what we want. Comparing, of course, if you use two different, let's say, if you want to have a vertical bar and a horizontal bar, then you use the coordinate freak. Then you can compare the two graphs, see which one you prefer. You can even change the default color to another color. Will be covered in the third one. Probably, I think most people will be interested in covering. Yeah, so that type of things could be generated using the ggplot2. Yeah, we'll come out more details on that.
Yeah.
Okay. So where we start? Yeah. Okay. That's why I was saying that we can do a bubble plot by issuing another commands here. Then when we go on to say that you can see that when we issue this command, we change it to a bubble plot, the legend will automatically generate it. I say, oh, we do not want to have this legend. Then what we can do is we issue another command, then to remove the legend. Right? So it's some sort of, just to give a concept, is one line, add one line to perform something, and then is a layer and a layer add in to change the graphical output. Yeah, and then the next one is label, title is equal to this. Then you produce a title. Right? So you can see there are two lines here is because of these particular commands. Those are doing programs I think C++ about C about. Then there is not familiar. It's very familiar with them. A slash n means put the one that after that into the next line. So that's why this is in the first line here, and that one is in the second line. So the syntax to do is label, LABS, then title is equal to this. Then you produce this one, which the last plot do not have a title. Okay? The same thing, we can also put in subtitle. Subtitle is the title, is followed by the title with a smaller font here. Yeah, so what I can see, title, then at the end of it, you put a comma, not a plus, because it's still within the function called labs. Then subtitle is equal to that. Then you produce that line. Yeah, yeah. So the difficulties is to understand a comma, not to put a comma. I mean, it's the first time I run, I might ignore the comma here without knowing there's a syntax error. Yeah, yeah. So that's the things that is make a beginner to learn ggplot2 a bit more difficult. Once you get used to it, then probably it's quite okay. Then hopefully there are more people building the GUI, so we don't need to have so much concern about getting the syntax correct. Yeah. Then the next one is put in the X and the Y. So we change the X axis and the Y axis from the default variable name to the name that we want to put in. So that is after the subtitle comma, then we put X is equal to that, Y is equal to that. So the X will appear here and the Y label will appear here. Then, and the next one, I put in a tag. A tag will appear somewhere here. A tag appears somewhere here. It's called bubble plot. Then put a bubble plot. And the next one is the color of the continent. Yeah. So we put in a color of continent of, then we change the label here. The label here is small cap, which is the default variable name. So we want to put in the big cap, then we specify here, and then we put, they'll change it to a big cap. So to put in the caption, the last one, after the field, the caption appear here. I said it's taken from ggplot2. So this data set, we're generating this graph using ggplot2.
Hi, Kiang. So
Yes.
there is another question since at this juncture, why do we still need the original AES since if we change the label later?
We change the label later. Okay. They are saying that why we need all this
Original AES.
This one to this one.
Maybe Suresh, would you like to unmute yourself and maybe clarify the question? Then maybe we could also explain to the rest of us. Yeah. Suresh can't unmute.
Yeah,
okay.
I can. Sorry.
Okay, cool.
You hear me?
Yes, great.
Yeah. So the first, it's only with respect to the first line, the AES X equal to GDP per cap and Y equal to. So we can, remove that and just have the new legend, right? Because we have already changed it, and so that's why I was just asking. This was.
Yeah. That means the AES actually can be executed more than once. This AES is specified the X and Y axis, the X and Y axis here, and this actually is X and Y, but there's a sign here. Sign means sign is a read from the variable called pop. So the size will appear, change the size of the scatter plot. In fact, we can also, like here is geo point. If you think that there's something can be added in, there's another geo function can be superimposed to the geo point as well. Yeah. So there's always you can always change a lot of things. Let's say if you generate a table, and say, it's a table here, to indicate how many countries in each continent is in this plot. So we can generate tables, then we add in the tables by adding some the syntax to add in the tables here. So this is all possible. So it's very flexible, and that's why it can generate quite complicated plots. We want to do that.
Actually, sorry, I didn't sort of understand, because my question was actually just with the labels and the X and Y, which you added later, even labs, and the aesthetic, the first command line where you mentioned the X and Y axis. So later,
Yes.
when you change it, would you need it or not? Is that that's all?
No, because this one is execute all at one go, right?
Okay.
So if let's say if you generate something, let's say you start until here, then you store it into the object. Then you can use that object back. I'll illustrate that later. You say that you can store a base one, then you add on later on. Then you add on later on.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, also another follow-up questions, maybe Kiang, would you be able to see it from the chat so that it will be more accurate? So it means that by the AES X equal Y equal is assigning the data to the X and Y. Then later the changes is changing the label on the graph. Is that right?
Yes, yes. Yeah, so I couldn't find, I'm still not very familiar with the Zoom. Yeah, sorry about that. Yes, this is the set what is in the X and what is the Y, what variable to put in. But under the lab, the X and Y here is referring, because it's the lab start here with an open bracket and it close here. The labs open here and close here. In between, there's no plus here. So this whole thing is actually under one argument called lab. So it's specified what is the title of the main title here, what is the X and what is the Y. Yeah, so this X and Y is different from the X and Y under aesthetic. Aesthetic is to say that where you map from. So specify what is in the X axis, what is in the Y axis, or only the Y axis. Now, while the lab is referring to the label, while the label for title, label for X, label for Y, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so that's to say that when I first use it, also quite confusing. Yeah, so it depends on we call ggplot is a function. Under each function, there's arguments we can specify. AES, geo point, all this is under what is inside the geoplot. Yeah, so the geo point is to generate the scatter plot and so on and so forth. So it depends on what are the arguments inside that particular functions will generate what is inside that subsumed under that particular functions. Yeah. I think I shall move on. Right? Yeah. So this is the final graph. So the final graph actually generate all this, add in one syntax at a time. Yeah. But when you get started ggplot, you may not have to go through all this. So it depends on your needs. This is to show that there is a step-by-step, layer-by-layer type approach when you are using ggplot2. Let's go back to the R programs. Yeah. So here is to we'll generate that, right? So to read in the R. This is to read in the get minor. This is to generate what is inside the get minor. And this is to generate the, there's no harm execute the library twice, right? There's no harm execute the library twice. But what you need is just to generate it once. You read in the add-on package. So that is to generate the data frame called get1992. So when you execute this, you produce a blank page here, right? Then when you execute this, is produce the X and Y, but there's no specification of scatter plot. When you execute this, you generate a scatter plot. When you go on to this, you add on the colors by continent. Then we move on when the syntax get Then you produce a bubble plot. That one will hide the legend. So the legend disappear here. Then we add in the title. We add in the title here. Then add in the subtitle. And the subtitle here. Then we go on to change the label for X and Y axis. So X and Y axis change. And we add in the tag. There's a tag bubble plot. And we change the legend title. Change this to cap. Then the final plots is this. I don't know whether you find that is quite troublesome. And I mean, what we point out, that is the difficulties when you pick up ggplot2. There's a lot of things you can refer to. One suggestion is if you start starting, Google the typical graph you want to do. Let's say I want bubble plot ggplot2. Then you get the syntax, just copy the syntax. This is how I learned. I copy the syntax without understanding what is the details, and then figure out one by one later on. But at least I produce the things. Then the bubble plot, you have to just put in the data frame, put in X and Y, then let the later solve one by one. That is one way of one approach for learning the ggplot. Yeah,
Dr. Tan,
yes.
we have a question on the DPLYR package. So the question is, the get minor is where we get our data subset. What about the DPLYR?
DPLYR is, just now we say install DPLYR, right? So it's install the package. So DPLYR is another add-on package. There are currently about close to 17,000 add-on packages. And ggplot is one of them. DPLYR is another one of them. So there are so many packages there in R. And then DPLYR is for data management. And ggplot2 is, these two are written by the same author. So there's a lot of link between the data management using DPLYR and ggplot2. In fact, you can put tidyverse, TIDYVERSE. You download the 5 or 6 packages that's written by the same author, and ggplot2 and DPLYR will be automatically included if you put install packages tidyverse. You automatically download ggplot2 and also DPLYR and other packages written by the author.
Right, the tidyverse one, I think we covered it the last session. Yeah. So if you're interested, you can actually review the video that's being uploaded. I think some of them actually come across some errors, such as the use method depth, and they had the object being classified as null. Yeah, those were some errors that they have. So would you recommend them, if they come across certain error, they can actually Google for it because it's open source anyway, right?
Yes, if you have some errors, you just cut and paste the error and put into Google. Not normally, not all the time. Normally, you get some answer from there. But most of the time is because, I mean, for this, because all the things are there. So it's a matter that you did not, probably you did not execute certain part of it. That's why certain things appear. Most likely, because these are supposed to be clean already, clean data set. Shouldn't be any errors in it.
Yeah. So I think the important, sorry, Dr. Tan. Yeah, so I think a lot of times, even myself, when I copy based on the R file that you know you gave, actually is very clean already. But when I actually execute, I did not do it sequentially, and I definitely have some error. Yeah, so we might want to keep practicing and then going through one step at a time also. And that should work.
As what Madeline had pointed out, it's sequential, you see. Let's say just now the get 1992, then you change something in 1992, then you execute the second time. It's the second time's executed syntax is stored into the data frame. Yeah. So it happens to delete a letter, then something happened, then you won't get back the same gap 1992. So it's sequential, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we shall move to the next one. This is the first few slides is actually a repetition. Title, subtitle, caption, X axis, Y axis, and theme. We have illustrated in the first some of them. Yeah, we shall go through another one just to show how to change color. Yeah, so ggplot2 plus theme void. Theme void is something that is to specify the theme that is to override the default one. See, just now we can see that. Oh, I think I lost it. I lost the pointer.
We are seeing your mouse cursor though.
This
but
one,
not the red one.
Not the red one. Huh? Let me find the red one.
Yeah, because you're using 2 monitors, right? So
Yes, I'm doing 2 monitors. Yes, I can't find it really. Just now I thought I found it. Oh yeah, I found it. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Just now, when we the default one, you see. The default here, you can see the grid line here. You can see the grid line here, right? So if we put in theme void, you see all the grid line disappear, right? So there are a lot of themes that you can use to override the default and produce something that you prefer. Yeah. So if you execute this, a blank one will appear, but then we can put this ggplot plus that and that will produce title and subtitle here. Title, subtitle, and caption. So caption will be here. So when you put it this way, you're saying that this is stored into an object called E2. So if you execute from here until the last line, we won't produce the output. And only if we execute E2, then the output will produce. So that is another way of doing it. Why is it doing so? There are one very reason is that, let's say we execute E2 and we want this to be intact. Then later on, we want to add in something. We just put, let's say, E3, then E2 plus something else. Then this will be intact. Then we just add on to it. So that's one way of doing it as well. And it is quite a common way that people, some of the people prefer this way. That means you have the base, you have the base graph. Then later on, you want to change it, then you add on to it. Yeah. So this one is to add the X and Y axis. So the X and the Y axis will be there. So if we want to change, then the team, we just don't have a team. The team can have much more other commands that is there. Let's say if we put text is equal to elements of text color is blue, then all the text will change into blue color. And if we put theme, we can say the plot text is equal to red color, then all the text will change to red color. But if we say plot title is referring to this, then the size is equal to 25, then you have a bigger size. Then the plot subtitle is 15, it becomes a smaller size. A plot caption is 15, so this is 15. Then the X and the Y is 20, so that is a font size of 20. Yeah. So you can see that the syntax start growing. And the more argument we need to know in order to produce certain things that you want to change. So that is the complexity of the ggplot. We will get into more details, more specific that want to change the font size for a specific particular labeling. So then the theme BW, just now is theme board. Let's go back. That's theme board, yeah. So if it is theme BW black and white, then you produce a square, and then it's just black and white here. So if you put it into pink, then supposedly all will be pink, but if we say the text is pink, everyone is supposed to pink, but we say the text for the exit of title X and Y, the X mask is in red color and the Y in orange color, and this is in orange and this is in red. Yeah. So there's an overall default in pink. That is an override to change the color within it. And the theme classics, which is different from the themes black and white, you can see there's a square box here, but it becomes just a line on the X and Y. The other lines disappear. So there's a lot of flexibility there, but that is to say that there are more things that need to know in order to change all this, the default to something that we prefer. Yeah. So just to summarize it, so this is what we've just covered for 6 graph. Change in color, change in font size, change in the theme, and also from default text to specific X and Y assets to change the color. So another one useful is the library grip extra. This grip extra is together with the function called grip arrange. That's how I put E2, E3, E4 to E7, right? So this is E3, E6, E7, E4, E3 that produce all the respective graph here. Yeah. So we want to put everything into one output. Then we load the library called grip extra. Then you use a function within this add-on package called grip arrangement. We arrange in this way, and the number of columns is 3, so there are 1, 2, 3 columns here, starting from E2, E3, E4, E5, E6, E7, according to the arrangement here. We look at another examples, that is back to empty cast, back to MPG and WT. If we specify this and store into T1 and we execute T1, we can specify the title, subtitle, X, Y, and caption. So this is T1 is the one that is the base. We want to change this, but this is the basic format we want. Then we change later on by saying that T1 add this to change and put it into T2. So T1 here is this, but T2 here is take T1 but add in all this and it produces this graph. So we no need to have a long syntax. So that's one way of storing the syntax into an object, and then from that object we generate some from there as a base, we generate and change some other things. So what is the things that change here is in the theme, we have shown the theme has some, we have shown the themes can change the text color, right? And also the title of the colors and the size of the title. But we also can change by specify inside the theme function, what is a plot background? That is the plot background. And what is the panel background? That is the panel background. So we want to have the panel background painted in light sky blue and the pink color for the plot background. What we have to do is to add in to say plot color is equal to elements rectangular filled in with pink color. And that one is for the panel one, filled with light sky blue. This is how the syntax grow and grow. We're going to change a specific coloring or font or label. Okay? And then the syntax really grow. Yeah, this is a painful path I went through to know all this syntax. Yeah, so you can see the plot title is size 16, so that's a plot title size 16. The subplot title is size in 10, so this is 16, this is 10, plot title. Yeah. Then that is a plot caption is 5. You can see that the caption is somewhere here 5. I think it doesn't, caption is somewhere here 5. So it's a very small one. I can't get the caption. Yeah. So The exit title and exit text for X and Y, that is the exit text, that is the exit title. So you can see that the exit text and title for X and Y is specified 10, 10, 15, and 15 here for X and Y. And then there's an angle 270, that's why this becomes 270. Yeah, that is 45, then it becomes a 45 one. I don't see the 45 here. I think sorry for that. I think I cut and paste the wrong one. Yeah, so so that's to say that we have an argument that is angle. We can change the angle of the text as well. But these are not the only one. We can show later on. There are a list of syntax is in the later slide. We can refer to for more of these arguments. Yeah, and the plot margin. And the plot margin is here. This is the panel. This is the plot area. We can reduce the plot here by specifying using the plot margin, by specifying a clockwise from top, right, bottom to left. Top, right, bottom to left. So let's say this is defined as 5, 1, 5, 1. So there's 5, 1, 5, 1 here. Then this is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say we take back to the examples. So we create a base one which plots the weight and the mile per gallon of this 32 automobile that's getting from empty cars. We specified the color for the plot is this. So these are all in fire bricks. And we specified the plot for caption that is in this color for salmon. So this is salmon. And we specified the title, subtitle, X1, and caption. So all this is there. Then from M1, we store into M2. So we no need to specify all this syntax here. Right? So it's all in M1 now. Then we say want to change the color for that. So the background is orange. So it becomes orange color. And panel background is light blue. Then this becomes light blue. And so you can see that the fire bricks is still there. Right? But now we want to change the plot caption into white color and it become a white color here. Then the plot margin is the one that decides the plot. So it's 1, 5, 1, 5 here. Says 1, 5, 1, 5 here. And if we change it to 5, 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, it becomes 5, 1, 5, 1 here. And it becomes smaller if we specify 5, 5, 5, 5. So it's 5, 5, 5. So the plot area, the panel area become very small. And here we added another one is the color is red, the size is 3, the line type is dash. Then you can change the line size here. So there's a grid minor. Grid means the one that is inside here, the grid here. So it's want to be a yellow color, size is smaller, but it's a dash one. So you can see a dash here, right? Dash here. Yeah, so that is how you can change even the color of the grids. Then we can change the grids major. That is the grid major. And the yellow one is the grid minor. So the grid minor is yellow. The grid major is in red color. The size is larger than the minor of 1. That's why the yellow here is thinner. This is the thicker. So plot 2, 2, 2, 2. So it's 2, 2, 2, 2. And put them all together. You can see that's the default one. You can change the color. from more vertical form to a more horizontal form. Even smaller, change the coloring of the grids, change the coloring of the size of the major grips. There are much more here. Plots we have gone to the background, title, subtitle, caption, but tab and margin can be there as well. The panel, there are much more functions here. We shall not go through all this. Then the title for the exit X, we cover that. Thick we didn't cover, length we didn't cover, text I think we cover, line we didn't cover either. So you can look up for all these things if you want to play around with the exits. Any question here before? I think the time is also close here. Okay.
Yes, just right.
Yeah, okay. Reference. The reference of the cheat sheet will show it into another screen. This is a cheat sheet, is a true A4 size or A3 size rather, or A4 size. We can download from this website. We'll summarize the major functions is available in ggplot2. And that is the website can refer to for the ggplot to give you the syntax. Because someone asked about which book to refer to, because books normally only when things come out and wait for a while, then people write about it, then books publish it. Yeah, so if you want to get the latest one, especially the R version is changing very fast. Before the start of it is 3.6.3. And then when I start to put things together, it becomes 4. When the time I present it, it's 4.0.2. You see how fast the R have developed in terms of the version change in the versions. Yeah, so can always refer to this. Just now we said Tinyverse. Tinyverse is one that consists of several packages, and ggplot is one of them. And that one is on the layers. On Joe, where describe what is available in Joe geometry, and some of the reference books. This too is written by the author of ggplot2. It's available in NUS, ebook here and ebooks here. This is a more later version than this. And that one is on Shiny, it's in ebooks as well. That is not in ebooks. This is in Central Library. I can get this from EU, NUS. There are several examples for ggplot2. Another ebooks, another one. This is probably good to start, but I think it doesn't consist only ggplot2, it consists other packages as well. And these are the books that is available in the webs. Because you have to pay, so I don't have a copy. So I do not know how good are they, but I just try and paste from there. Yeah, but the thing is that for this two, I think, is from STHDA. Normally they give examples as well. So they show you what is available, but not everything. So if you're interested in it, I think you can buy from them. Yeah, so these are some of the references. I'll show you the first one and the second one. But the reference are here. Let's go to the, let's skip. So this is the website. You can download the cheat sheet. So you can just press download here from the website. These are all inside the slide. Yeah? The web's reference is in the slide. So you can just download. You'll get a 2 A4 size for this cheat sheet. Of course, if you're interested in other packages, there are a lot more. Anyway, there are 17,000. So there's just a few of them. Huh? And the next one is this website, which is ggplot2. The one cut and paste and put in the slide is just to show that there are lasers here. So you can actually click on this. Let's say Joe box plot. You just click on this. They give you all the syntax. And then they give you examples. So there are plenty of examples in the webs. Plenty of examples in the web. box plot by groups, just the box plot itself, and so on and so forth. Huh? I say you get another examples is a dot plot. So the syntax, what the arguments all stand for, and to produce dot plots. Okay. So this is the ggplot by Wilkinson, second edition. Yeah. So as I said, this one is 2008. Is it? So I mean, ggplot divide R divide very fast. So, but you can refer to this. I think chapter 4 is the one that illustrates the grammar. So you can look at this one too. Another one is the references. This is a reference, one of the references, the first reference. So you produce a heat map. Heat maps mean the plot is colored, and the color have some meaning in it. So this color means small. This color means more, maximum, and then they tabulate by two to one to judge and one to. You can see lower one. Oh, this is a very high value. This high here. So you can see from the color to generate. So there are some other things here. You can refer to. And this is written by the author in 2010. It's a layer of grammar. So you can look through this to see how actually they refer to the grammar of graphics here. So they illustrate what is it, the grammar, right? And then what all these represent. So, yeah. So thanks Magdalene to organize this. Also Su Yin that behind to do all the works you didn't see here. Yeah. So yeah, Magdalene is very helpful and giving all the support to this.
No, we are actually very grateful that you step forward to really share your knowledge with the community. I think it's really hard for us to have someone to step forward to share, your expertise with the community. And I believe this session is really an overview of what our ggplot2 can actually comprehend, and it might be useful for all of us that might be very new to the content, as well as for your research and even your daily assignments for our students. And I also learned a lot about how you can actually modify the graphical display, be it your titles, your labels, font size, little things. And of course, I'm not expecting that we can all learn at one go, after just 1.5 hour, or rather 1 hour session. Really, it's really about practice, and a lot of the content or research, the resources are actually available online, like what Kiang mentioned. R is pretty available. When you Google for a certain package, you can get it, and then you can just load it into R. So if you have any questions, you can actually stay behind to ask us, and then we could actually try to address it. If you have some technical issues or some data sets that you're interested to upload, and how we can advise, we hope we can actually share as much as we can. So we won't want to take too much of the time, and that's really the end of the session. And if you'd like to give us a feedback, and here is the survey link, please also help us to put in your feedback in this link. Thank you, Su Yan, for putting in the chat. Yeah, and that's about it. And thank you everyone for your time, your precious time. And I know everyone's really busy gearing up for the new semesters up ahead. Okay, and stay safe and have a good day ahead. Thank you.